Hello everybody and welcome to a new series. This one is one that of the what ifs I included in Multiversity because you guys were constantly asking for me to do this. You guys even voted that this one would be the first one I make after Multiversity. So here you go. Quick note, if you happen to be new around here and enjoy this series, make sure to subscribe, and if you guys want to make sure want more in this series, please let me know by either hitting that like button or in the comments below. I do know that Plus Ultraman did make a version of this before, but I do hope you guys enjoy my version of it. Now, let's get started with the actual story. Midoriya is born on July 15th, as always, except this time he's born with a quirk that manifested around age 2 when he finds out he is able to talk with and even control computers just by touching them. But that's not all it can do, although it does take some time to build up. At age 4, Midoriya finds himself protecting one of his friends. He says, "Why are you being so mean, Kachan? You're making him cry. If you keep going, I'll stop you myself." Bakugo laughs and says, "Come on, Deku. You have no chance without a strong quirk. Your quirk is useless." Midoriya does move and Bakugo, along with his friends, attack Midoriya. Midoriya, with a rush of adrenaline, tries to defend himself with a mechanical arm going off his normal one. These being Rex's smack hands, but a lot smaller, more proportional to child Midoriya. Midoriya smiles, looking at his arm, realizing that his dreams are within grasp now. Then his quirk starts mutating, going wild and making him grow in size, becoming the type of monster/evil that Rex Zalazar became once in the series. After this happens, Bakugo and the other two kids ran away, afraid, and the heroes even had to be called in order to stop Midoriya. All Might even had to show up in order to defeat him. After stopping him, All Might says, "Wow, all that damage, and it was just a 4-year-old. Poor guy, his quirk must have gone wild." After those events, Midoriya is taken into police custody until his mother comes to pick him up. She asks, "Izuku, are you okay?" Midoriya asks, "Who are you?" Inko falls to her knees and asks, "What are you saying, Izuku? I'm your mother." Time passes, and Midoriya, knowing what he's capable of, grows up afraid of his quirk, only using it when he has to, meaning only for the quirk counseling that students go through in primary and middle school. Meaning that at this point in the story, he can make one build and doesn't even know how to use it very well. He can make the smack hands, that's it. After those events, Midoriya is again. Two things to note. After the events that happened when they were 4, Bakugo and the others stopped bullying Midoriya and even started avoiding him out of fear that his quirk might go wild again. Second is that Midoriya still grows up idolizing heroes but considers it an impossibility becoming one himself. Eventually, we reach the present day. In Aldera Junior High, the teacher says, "So, as third-year students, it's time to start thinking seriously about your future and what you want to do with your lives. I could pass out some career aptitude tests, but..." The teacher throws all the papers into the air and continues, "Why bother? I know you all want to go to the hero track." The whole class raises their hands and starts cheering while using their quirks, except Midoriya, who sticks close to the desk writing a bit about Mount Lady in his notebook, since he did see her this morning. The teacher then calms them down, saying, yes, you all have impressive quirks, but no quirk usage allowed in school. Get a hold of yourselves." Bakugo says, "Hey, teach. Don't lump me in with this bunch of losers. I'm the real deal, but these guys will be lucky if they end up as sidekicks to some busted D-lister." Bakugo then laughs, the class screaming in outrage at Bakugo. One of the students says, "Do you think you're better than us, Kasuki?" Bakugo says, "Bring it on, I'll take you all out." The teacher looks at his forms and says, "You got some impressive test results. Maybe you will get into UA." A random student says, "He's going to try the national school?" Another one says, "They only have a 0.2 acceptance rate. It's impossible to get in." Bakugo jumps on his desk and says, "That's exactly why it's the only place worthy of me. After all, I ace all the mock tests. I'm the only one in this school who stands a chance of getting into UA." The teacher says, "Settle down. So as I was saying, you need to start thinking about your Bakugo is right, we can't all be heroes, so think about it well. The rest of the day goes by pretty quickly. Once it's done, Midoriya leaves class to head home, using a shortcut to reach it quicker. Midoriya walks by thinking about what jobs he wants. He then passes under a bridge, and as he passes, something comes out of the sewers behind him. A villain made of sludge steps out from behind him. Midoriya hears a noise and turns around. He exclaims, "A villain!" The sludge villain, seeing Izuku, says, "You'll make a perfect skin suit for me to hide in, kid." And he rushes at Midoriya, jumping onto him. Midoriya is about to react and build the smack hands in order to protect himself, but he stops himself because of his fear of his own power. The sludge villain then covers up his body. The sludge villain says, "Don't worry, I'm just taking over your body. It'll be easier for both of us if you don't fight back. It'll only hurt for a minute. It'll only hurt for a minute. You'll feel a lot better soon." Midoriya starts thinking, "I can't breathe. Feels like I'm dying." Midoriya starts struggling and tries to get out of it. The sludge villain says, "Grab all you want, kid. My body's made of fluid. I didn't know he was in the city. You're a real hero to me, kid. I gotta get out of here as fast as I can before he tracks me down." Midoriya thinks, "My body getting weak. If I can't stop him, I'll lose control." The lid from the sewers then flies into the air, and All Might steps out, attacking directly, shouting, "Texas Smash!" Midoriya briefly sees him before passing out. A couple of minutes later, All Might hits Midoriya over the head, waking him up. All Might says, "Thought we lost you there." Midoriya freaks out, stepping back, and All Might says, "Well, looks like you're moving around, right?" Sorry about that back there, justicing. Usually I pay more attention to keeping bystanders safe, but it turns out the city's sewer system is pretty hard to navigate." And then he laughs. "Anyway, you were a big help. Thank you. I've captured the evildoer." Midoriya then asks him for an autograph, realizing that All Might already gave him one in his notebook. Midoriya thanks him. All Might says, "No sweat. Well, I've gotta get this guy to the police so they can take care of him. Stay out of trouble. See you around." Midoriya asks, "Wait, you're leaving already?" All Might says, "Pro heroes are always fighting time as well as villains. It's a constant struggle." Midoriya says, "Wait, I have a question. 10 years ago, do you remember in this city you fought a villain that turned out to be a little boy? What was your impression of him?" All Might says, "I was surprised that such a small boy had such power, and thought that if he honed his abilities, he could be a great hero. Well, if that's all, goodbye." Midoriya says, "No, wait!" jumping onto All Might as All Might jumps away. In midair, All Might realizes that Midoriya is grabbing onto his leg and says, Hey, what do you think you're doing? Let go. I love my fans, but this is too much." Midoriya says, "No way, we're flying. If I let go now, I'll die." All Might says, "Oh, that's a good point." Midoriya says, "I just have some questions. You're my all-time favorite hero, and maybe the only one who can answer some of these." All Might says, Okay, I get it. Just keep your eyes and mouth shut." They then land on a rooftop, and All Might says, "Bang on the door for a while. Someone will let you in. Now, I have to go. See you on the flip side." Midoriya says, "No, not yet. Wait a second." All Might says, "No, I don't have time." Midoriya says, "That kid, All Might, that villain kid you defeated all those years ago, that he would stand a chance to become a hero? Even with such a wild quirk?" All Might says, "I do believe so, but why are all the..." All Might then feels a pain in his side and some smoke starts coming out of him. All Might turns into his regular form, surprising Midoriya. Meanwhile, in an alleyway not too far away, Bakugo with some other friends starts kicking around a can before hitting a bottle where the sludge villain is sealed, freeing him. Back at the rooftop, Midoriya, now knowing what happened to All Might, asks, "So, about the kid?" All Might says, "As I was saying, I do believe he could become a hero, if he worked for it at least." Midoriya asks, "What if he was afraid of his quirk going wild again?" All Might says, "Kid, I don't know what to tell you. We all have problems to deal with, heroes especially. My power was a bit hard to actually. My power was a bit hard to control at the beginning, but you figure it out. He just needs to work at it. Don't give up. Anyway, if you don't mind, I'm going to go now. All Might then leaves the rooftop, realizing on the way down that the sludge villain is gone. From the top of the building, Midoriya sees an explosion and thinks heroes might be there. Might be cool to check it out. And he then makes his way towards the alley. Once he gets there, he sees the many heroes aren't able to do much because of the situation. Midoriya does realize that it's the villain that All Might was fighting earlier and feels guilty for everything that happened. He makes his way through the crowd of people watching in order to see better. Midoriya then sees Bakugo's face, and without thinking he starts moving. He jumps on top of the barricade. On the way, he throws his backpack at the villain to block the villain's vision. He then thinks back to All Might's words. The rush of emotion starts thinking back as far as he can remember. Even remembering things that he had forgotten, like the reason he went monster. Concentrating, Midoriya makes the smack hands, the biggest version he has ever made. They're about the size that they are in Generator Rex usually. The villain says, "Huh?" And upon recognizing Midoriya says, "It's you again? Didn't I tell you my body's made of fluid? That won't work on me," as Midoriya punches him with a fist. Midoriya's fist starts spinning, breaking the villain apart and scattering him over the alleyway. Midoriya grabs Bakugo and starts walking away, as the villain starts forming again. All Might, who was inspired by what he just witnessed, thinks he's the boy, the one from 10 years ago. All Might gets inspired and jumps at the villain, using One for All to break him apart so he can't reform. The day is now saved. All Might says, "Thank you, young man." All Might says, "Thank you, young man." He puts his hand on Midoriya's shoulder and says, "I know the struggle you've been through. Believe me, I get it. You're going to be a great hero though if you do want that." And Midoriya smiles. Because of this, Midoriya sends an application to UA and spends the next 10 months training, inspired by All Might. He tries to develop his ability more, and in the 10 months period, he works on his quirk and manages to create 2 more builds. These being the Deku Ride, the Rex Ride, but renamed to this because the name makes no sense in this story, and the Slam Cannon. Midoriya is still very hesitant, but at least takes steps to becoming a hero, being encouraged by his mother. The day of the UA entrance exam eventually arrives, and Midoriya eagerly makes his way to the UA high school. Once he steps through the gate, he takes a moment to breathe it all in. Bakugo jumps into him and says, "Out of the way, Deku." Midoriya, "This is where my journey starts, and now that I can control my quirk, I'll be a hero just like All Might." Midoriya then trips and thinks, "Or I'll just die." He then feels a touch on his shoulder and stops falling, and a girl asks him, "Are you okay?" She sets him upright and continues, "I stopped you with my quirk. I'm sorry I didn't ask first, but I thought you wouldn't mind. Isn't this like way nerve-wracking?" And Midoriya says, "Yes." Raka says, "Well, guess I'll see you inside. Bye." And Midoriya says, "Bye," and walks into the main hall, and there President Mike explains the whole exercise. He says, "What's up, UA candidates? Thanks for tuning in to me, your school DJ. Come on and let me hear ya." Nobody says anything and silence fills the room. President Mike says, "Keeping it mellow, huh? That's fine, I'll skip straight to the main show. Let's talk about how this practical exam is going to go down, okay? Are you ready?" "Yeah." And again, nobody answers. Midoriya then starts freaking out a bit about seeing one of his heroes in real life, mumbling a bit. President Mike continues, "Like your application said, today your rocking boys and girls will be out there conducting 10-minute mock battles in suburban settings. Get ready. After I drop the mic here, you will go to your specified battle centers. Sound good?" And again, no one answers. President Mike then screams, "Okay." Midoriya looks at his examinee number, seeing that it's 2234, and that his battle center is B. Midoriya looks at Bakugo, seeing that the number is 2233, and that his battle center is A. Bakugo says, I see, they're splitting us up so we can't work together, or with any of our friends. Midoriya says, yeah, you're right, our numbers are one after the other, but we are assigned to different battle centers. Bakugo says, get your eyes off my card, please. President Mike then continues his explanation. Okay, let's check out your targets. There are 3 types of foe villains in every battle center. You'll earn points based on their level of difficulty, so better choose wisely. Your goal in this trial is to use your quirks to raise your score by shredding those foe villains like a mid-song guitar solo. But check it, make sure you're keeping things heroic. Attacking other examinees is a UA no-no, you dig? A student wearing glasses and with blue hair stands up and asks, excuse me sir, but I have a question. President Mike says, hit me! The student with the glasses then says, on the printout you've listed 4 types of villains, not 3. With all due respect, if this is an error on official UA material, it is shameful. We are exemplary students. We expect the best from Japan's most notable school. A mistake such as this won't do. Additionally, you with the unkempt hair. He points at Midoriya and continues, you've been muttering this entire time. Stop that. If you can't bother to take this seriously, then leave. You're distracting the rest of us. President Mike then says, alright, examinee number 7111. Thanks for calling in with your request. The 4th villain type is worth 0 points. That guy is just an obstacle we'll be throwing in your way. There's one in every battle center. Think of it as a hurdle you should try to avoid. It's not that it can't be beaten, but there's really no point. I recommend my listeners try to ignore it and focus on those top of the charts. The student in glasses says, thank you very much. Please continue. And he sits down. President Mike says, that's school present. A sample of our school motto. As General Napoleon Bonaparte once laid out, a true hero is one who overcomes life's misfortunes. Now that's a tasty soundbite. You ready to go beyond? Let's hear a plus ultra. And no one says anything, and President Mike says, good luck. Hope you practice any more than just books. A couple of minutes later, Midoriya finds himself just outside the gates of Battle Center B, calming his nerves right before the exam. Then President Mike shouts, right, let's start. There are no countdowns in real battle. Midoriya makes the Deku right, and knowing that they are just robots, goes around touching them as fast as he can, turning them off just by touching them. About 2 minutes left until the end of the entrance exam. At this point, Midoriya already has 54 points from just touching robots. He didn't really have to break any. It's at this point that the 0-point robot appears. Everyone starts running away. Midoriya is about to do the same, but he hears a girl scream. He turns around and seeing a girl who's in danger. Midoriya starts rushing over there as fast as he can, making the Deku right to get there faster. He arrives right before the robot steps on Uraraka, making the smash hands in order to hold the robot up. Uraraka, however, it's too heavy and he starts putting pressure from the bottom as well, making a prototype version of the Punk Busters. As he holds the robot back, he starts interacting with it, telling it to move back and turn itself off. The robot then does this, stepping back. Midoriya then uses the smack hands to lift the debris off Uraraka, helping her to get to the infirmary after the entrance exam ends, after which Midoriya heads home. A week later, his mom knocks on the door and says, Izuku, there's a letter from UA. Midoriya grabs it and says, thanks. He then closes the door and goes to the desk. He opens the letter only to find a small disc inside. He places it on the ground and a hologram comes out of it and says, hello young man. I am here to say congratulations on having passed the UA entrance exam. Midoriya says, holy crap, it's All Might again. This is awesome. A numbering system comes up on screen that reads, Izuku Midoriya, 54 comment points and 20 rescue points. All Might continues, you risked your own well-being to help that girl that was in danger, and in my opinion, by that alone, you deserve to be in this hero course. I did tell you that you could become a hero, and you have proven me right. Keep doing that and you'll be on your way. Congratulations, young man. Congratulations, young man. And you are now part of my Hero Academia. Midoriya gets very excited and rushes out of his room to tell his mother the good news. The next few days go by pretty quickly and the first day of UA arrives. Midoriya gets ready to leave the school, tying his shoes before he can leave. His mom asks, Izuku, you sure you packed everything? You didn't just pack action figures, did you? Midoriya, a bit annoyed, says, I'm sure, Mom. Midoriya is about to leave, but his mom says, I'm very proud of you, Izuku. Midoriya smiles and says, I'll see you later. He then leaves for his first day of UA. A while later, Midoriya arrives at UA and starts running through the halls looking for Class 1A. Midoriya says, Class 1A, 1A, Class 1A? Come on, where is it? There it is. Midoriya finds a gigantuous door. Looking at it for a moment, he opens the door to find the following scene playing out. Ida shouts, Take your feet off that desk now. It's the first day and you're already disrespecting this academy by scuffing school property, you cretin. Bakugo says, You're kidding me, right? Did your old school put a stick up your ass or were you born with it? Ida calms down and says, Let's start over. I'm Tenya Ida from the Somei Private Academy. Bakugo shouts, Somei, huh? So you must think you're better than me. I'm gonna have fun telling you a new one. Ida, shocked, asks, You would threaten me? Your own classmates? Are you sure you're in the right place? Bakugo scoffs and leans back, noticing Midoriya, who's standing next to the door, intensely staring at him. Ida looks at where Bakugo is looking, seeing Midoriya, and Ida says, It's you! Midoriya says, Hi? Ida starts making his way in while saying, Good morning, my Midoriya, and Ida says, It's you! Midoriya says, Hi? Ida starts making his way in while saying, Good morning, my name is Tenya Ida from the... Midoriya says, Yeah, I know. My name is Izuku Midoriya. It's super nice to meet you. Ida asks, Did you realize something in the practical exam? Otherwise, why would you risk your life to save that girl, even though you had enough points to pass? Midoriya says, I heard her scream and just... Uraka walks up behind her and says, Hey, I recognize that messed up hair. The machine boy. I'm so glad you passed the practical exam. Thanks for saving me, by the way. What do you think we are doing today? Besides orientation, I mean. I wonder what the teachers are like. I can't wait to meet them. Midoriya says, I don't know, but I think... Aizawa then comes up behind them, scaring the students, surprising them. Aizawa says, If you're just here to make friends, might as well... Welcome to UA Heroes course. Aizawa gets up from the floor and continues, It took 8 seconds before you all shut up. That's not going to work. Time is precious. Rational students would understand that. Everyone stares at Aizawa, wondering who he is. Aizawa says, Right, let's get to it. He grabs a uniform from his sleeping bag and says, Put these on and meet me outside. A little later in the PE grounds, Aizawa informs the students that they will be doing a Quirk assessment test. Uraraka exclaims, But orientation, we're gonna miss it. Aizawa says, If you really want to make the big leagues, you can't waste time on pointless ceremonies. Here at UA, we're not tethered to tradition. That means I get to run my class however I see fit. The class is a bit surprised at that statement, and Aizawa turns to them and says, You have been taking standardized tests all of your lives, but you never got to use your quirks in physical exams before. The country's still trying to pretend we are all born equal by not letting those with the most power excel. It's not rational. One day the Ministry of Education will learn. Aizawa turns to Midoriya and says, Midoriya, you managed to get the most points in the entire exam. What was your farthest softball throw in middle school? This comment makes Bakugo a bit mad. Midoriya answers 61 meters, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Aizawa tells Midoriya to use his quirk this time and gives him a softball. Midoriya makes the slam cannon, puts the ball into it and throws it. The ball reaches 341.6 meters before touching the ground. The class gets very excited. Aizawa says, All of you need to know your maximum capabilities. It's the most rational way of figuring out your potential as a pro hero. Aizawa says, 341.6 meters? Are you kidding me? How are we supposed to beat that? Min says, I want to go. That looks like fun. Zero says, nice. We get to use our quirks as much as we want. Aizawa says, so this looks like fun, huh? You have 3 years here to become a hero. You think it's all going to be fun in games and playtime? Idiots. Today you'll compete in 8 physical tests to determine your potential. Whoever comes in last will be expelled, effective immediately. The whole class gets a bit scared of that statement. Uraka says, it isn't fair. Even if it wasn't the first day, you can't just expel us. We worked hard to get here. Aizawa says, oh, and natural disasters are, or power-hungry villains, or catastrophic accidents? No, the world is full of unfairness, and it's a hero's job to combat that unfairness. If you want to be a pro, you're going to have to push yourself to the brink. For the next 3 years, UA will throw one terrible hardship after another at you. So go beyond, plus ultra style. Show me it's not a mistake that you're here. The first test that they do is the 50-meter dash. Midoriya makes his Deku ride here and manages to complete the 50-meter dash in 5.11 seconds. Next is the grip strength test. Midoriya uses his nanites to reinforce his strength, reaching a score of 133 kilograms. Midoriya reaches his prototype Punk Busters, a technique that hasn't fully been mastered yet, for the sand pit jump thing, and there he manages to jump over the sand pit. The next test is the repeated sidestep jumps. After that, it's the distance run, a test Midoriya managed to do very well thanks to toe touch, and last the sit-ups. The tests are done and Aizawa combines the scores and shows them to the class. In this version of event, Midoriya got about the 5th spot in the rankings. After the rankings are shown, Aizawa says, and as for who's going home, you have all shown me that that's not a mistake that you're here. You have proven yourselves worth for now. I am skeptical about some of you, but I do believe you should stay, at least for now. Aizawa then leaves, telling the class to pick up a syllabus before they go home. After school ends, Midoriya and Ida start heading to the station. Midoriya says, I told you I wasn't trying to earn extra points. I didn't even know rescue points were a thing. I was just trying to help someone. Ida says, then you are a very good person for sacrificing your exam in order to help. Uraka then runs up behind them screaming, hey, wait up you two! Are you going to the station? I'll join you! I'll join you! Ida says, oh, you're Infinity Girl. Uraka says, I'm Ochaka Uraka. Let's see, you're Tenya Ida, and your name's Midoriya, right? Izuku Midoriya? Midoriya says yes. And the three of them go to the station together, unaware of what's about to happen in their lives. Anyway, that's where I'm leaving it for this time. I do hope you all enjoyed. Please make sure to hit that like button if you did. If you are new, consider subscribing. And if you have any suggestions, please leave them in the comments below or in my Discord. Actually, it's more likely that I'll see it there. But yeah, do whatever you guys want. Thank you all for watching. That's it for me for